You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. Her performative crying. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Tears. Idle tears. I know not what they mean. Tears from the depth of some divine despair rise in the heart and gather to the eyes. In looking on the happy autumn fields and thinking of the days that are no more. Fresh as the first beam glittering on a sail that brings our friends up from the underworld, sad as the last which reddens over one that sinks with all we love below the verge. So sad, so fresh, the days that are no more. Ah, sad and strange, as in dark summer dawns the earliest pipe of half-awakened birds to dying ears, when unto dying eyes the casement slowly grows a glimmering square. So sad, so strange, the days that are no more. Dear as remembered kisses after death, and sweet as those by hopeless fancy feigned, on lips that are for others, deep as love, deep as first love, and wild with all regret. O death in life, the days that are no more. Some of you may recognize that as Tears, Idle Tears by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Tears are a particular fascination to me. I remember remarking to my sister many, many years ago when I was a child, "Why is water leaking from that person's face?" I did not recognize tears nor understand what they were, but I grew to gain that understanding, and you might want to watch my videos about tears. There are 4 of them to learn more. Narcissists, which of course includes Harry's wife, make use of tears. I don't cry. Tears might only leak from my eyes if some chili was rubbed into them. But other than that, there is no emotion that causes tears to fall from my eyes. It just does not happen. But there are narcissists who regularly cry. Mid-range narcissists use it the most. Lessers can do to an extent. And of course, the biggest crybabies of all are middle-range type B. Those that think the world is against them and the universe has cursed them, that engage in doling out massive amounts of pity plays and sympathy symphonies. Harry's wife is a mid-range narcissist, maybe A, maybe B, I've yet to tell you, uses pity plays. She thinks the world is indeed a cruel and venal place, and one whereby she is the victim. She uses tears, but is purely performative. She does so as a way to achieve the prime aims. Like any narcissist, when it comes to the interaction with another person, she behaves in that fashion in order to assert control, making somebody feel sorry for her. "Nobody asked me if I was okay," she explained to Tom Bradby. We've all witnessed the one tear, left eye go, as she recognizes that she is able to cry on demand. But when she does cry on demand, she doesn't believe that she's doing so, other than that example, on demand, but rather that she truly feels upset. The narcissist cries for 2 purposes. 1, to fit in. So Harry's wife, she managed to squeeze out that 1 tear at the Queen's funeral, when actually she felt nothing but an inner rage at the fact that everybody else was looking at the Queen's coffin and talking about the Queen and not her. Her facade, however, ensured that she didn't do anything further to draw attention to herself above actions which caused her to largely fit in, with a little twist associated with them. The exaggerated curtsy, for example, and, of course, causing that tear to fall. Thus, the narcissist will use tears to fit in, to make it seem like they are sad at the passing of an individual, that they are upset for you when you have bad news. But the narcissist doesn't give a rat's ass about your grief or your loss. The narcissist doesn't give a rat's ass other than irritation about their own loss, in terms of somebody dying is an inconvenience for us. But of course, the mid-range narcissist in particular will engage in the opportunity to cry, both in terms to fit in, because that's what you're invariably meant to do when somebody has died, and then for the second reason, to assert control over people and draw fuel from them, and perhaps gain a residual benefit by causing people to feel sorry for them. Your heart must be broken that dear old Tarquin has gone. Yes, I miss him so. And thus an arm is placed around the narcissist's back. That is an act providing fuel and showing that appliance is under control. Words are offered of sympathy. Again, that provides fuel and shows that the relevant appliance is under control. Harry's wife only cries in order to fit in and to cause people to try to feel sorry for her. We have heard repeatedly of the instances where she fell to the floor sobbing. Such is her style of narcissism that that's almost the response of pressing a particular button. Suffer personal tragedy, I fell to the floor sobbing. Suffer some setback in personal life, I fell to the floor sobbing. Things not going your way, I fell to the floor sobbing. The cherry picker that I've spoken about in the imitation game for Harry's wife trundles off to that shelf and brings back a package which is falling to the floor sobbing. It never happened, but it makes Harry's wife believe that it did, so that then she can relay this to others for the purposes of drawing their pity and their sympathy, thus receiving the fuel and knowing subconsciously that those people are under control. In some instances, she would, guided by her narcissism, in effect wait until she could hear the sound of Harry approaching, and then, as if on cue, in an episode of Suits, she falls to the floor and starts the sobbing. She does so because the narcissism compels her to do it to manipulate Harry. Thus, those instances of falling to the floor and sobbing either never happened in the revisions of history, or where they did, they're simply manipulations of pity plays. Harry's wife does this because, as a mid-range narcissist with a rampant victim mentality, it suits to do so to try and get people to feel sorry for her. And yet, how does this contrast with the woman who said that she had been conditioned to keep emotions in check? Once again, she demonstrates her contradictory nature and hypocrisy. On the one hand, her narcissism wants to portray her as this steely-eyed dealer of bananitarianism that is unaffected by many things, but by the same token feels sorry for me because I have been conditioned to keep my emotions in check and it is such a burden. And then, maybe the next day, I fell to the floor sobbing. And the day after, I fell to the floor sobbing. Contradicting her earlier statement that she has been conditioned to keep her emotions in check, but she doesn't care because her narcissism does not allow her to see these contradictions. I see them, you see them, and that's why we are not fooled by her. But the fact remains that with regard to Harry's wife, the tears that she shed are part of fitting in to manage the facade, and moreover, by way of pity plays, contradictory, false, empty pity plays to cause people to feel sorry for her so that they express sympathy and support, so that she then subconsciously recognizes that they are under control and she receives the fuel from them. It is performative. It is simply part of the performance of the narcissist, duping people left, right, and centre. Her despair, her grief is manufactured. And it is manufactured, like everything that she does when it comes to other people, to pursue the prime aims. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.